Remember that feeling when you watch an old movie and suddenly realize how young everyone looked? Well, get ready for a serious trip down memory lane, because we're diving into one of the most beloved comedies of all time, Coming to America from 1988. This movie wasn't just funny, it was absolutely packed with amazing actors who would go on to become huge stars. Some were already famous, others were just getting started. But wow, have they all changed over the years? Can you believe it's been over 35 years since Prince Hakeem first stepped foot in Queens, New York? Today we're going to catch up with the entire cast and see what they look like now. Trust me, some of these transformations are going to absolutely shock you. From comedy legends to Hollywood royalty, this cast was something special, and their journeys since then have been incredible. Let's start with the man himself, the prince who stole our hearts and made us laugh until our stomachs hurt. Eddie Murphy was just 25 years old when he played Prince Hakeem, and boy was he something to see. Picture this young, energetic comedian at the top of his game, fresh off Saturday Night Live and already making movie magic. Murphy didn't just play one character in this movie. He played multiple roles, showing off his amazing talent for voices and makeup transformations. Back in 1988, Eddie was this lean, baby-faced superstar with that infectious smile and lightning-fast wit. He was already a household name from Beverly Hills Cop, but Coming to America really showed everyone just how talented he was. The man could make you laugh just by raising an eyebrow, and his chemistry with the other actors was pure gold. Fast forward to today, and Eddie Murphy is now 63 years old. Time has definitely left its mark, as it does on all of us. His face has filled out quite a bit, showing the wisdom and experience of someone who's been in Hollywood for decades. His hair has gone completely gray, and those laugh lines around his eyes tell the story of a man who's brought joy to millions of people. While he's definitely not that young, skinny comedian anymore, there's something dignified about how he's aged. He's like a fine wine. Different, but still bringing that special magic to everything he does. What's really amazing is that Eddie came back to play Prince Hakeem again in the 2021 sequel, Coming to America. Seeing him put on those royal robes again was like meeting an old friend after many years. Sure, he looked different, but that spark, that Eddie Murphy magic, was still there burning bright. Now, let's talk about Arenio Hall, who played Semi, Prince Hakeem's loyal sidekick. In 1988, Arenio was 32 years old and absolutely bursting with energy. He was this tall, handsome guy with a huge smile and personality that could light up any room. His chemistry with Eddie Murphy was perfect. They played off each other like they'd been best friends forever. Back then, Arenio had this youthful enthusiasm that made Semi such a lovable character. He was the perfect balance to Eddie's prince. Funny, loyal, and always ready for adventure. His face was smooth, his body was lean, and he had this infectious laugh that made everyone around him start laughing too. Today, at 68 years old, Arenio Hall looks quite different. His hair has gone completely white, and his face shows the lines of someone who's lived a full life. He's gained some weight over the years, which is totally normal, and his whole appearance has that distinguished older gentleman look. But here's the thing. When he smiles, you can still see that same fun-loving guy who made us laugh in Coming to America. Time changes how we look, but it can't change who we are inside. Let's move on to James Earl Jones, who played the powerful King Jaffe Joffer. Even back in 1988, James was already 57 years old, so he wasn't exactly young. But wow, what presence he had. He was this tall, strong-looking man with that incredible deep voice that could make you pay attention just by saying hello. His character was supposed to be this mighty king, and James absolutely looked the part. In the movie, King Jaffe was impressive and a little scary, with his royal robes and commanding presence. James Earl Jones brought such dignity and power to the role that you really believed he could rule a kingdom. His face was strong and serious, perfect for playing royalty. Now, at 93 years old, James Earl Jones has really shown his age. This isn't surprising since he's in his 90s. That's incredible. His body has become frail, and walking has become difficult for him. His face has changed dramatically, becoming much thinner and showing all those years. His once powerful voice, which was famous for playing Darth Vader, has also become weaker with age. But here's what's amazing. James Earl Jones is still alive and still remembered as one of the greatest actors ever. The fact that he lived to be over 90 is actually wonderful. Even if time has changed how he looks, he's earned every single one of those wrinkles through decades of incredible performances. Sher Hedley played Lisa McDowell, the beautiful woman that Prince Hakeem falls in love with. In 1988, she was just 24 years old and absolutely stunning. She had this natural beauty that didn't need any fancy makeup or costumes. Her smile could light up the screen, and she had this sweet, genuine personality that made you understand why a prince would fall for her. Back then, Sherry was young and fresh-faced, with perfect skin and a figure that made her look like a real-life princess. She brought such warmth and kindness to the role of Lisa that she became the heart of the movie. Every scene she was in felt more real and emotional because of her natural acting ability. Today, Sher Hedley is 59 years old, and like all of us, she looks different than she did 35 years ago. Her face has matured, showing some lines and changes that come with age. Her body has also changed over the decades, which is completely normal for someone approaching 60. But you know what? She still has that beautiful smile and warm personality that made her perfect for the role of Lisa. What's really nice is that she came back for the sequel in 2021, and seeing her reunite with Eddie Murphy on screen was really touching. Sure, they both looked older, but their chemistry was still there, proving that some things don't change with time. John Amos played Cleo McDowell, Lisa's father who owned the McDowell's restaurant. In 1988, he was 49 years old and had this strong, fatherly presence that made him perfect for the role. He was already famous from playing James Evans Sr. on Good Times, so people knew he could play a great dad character. Back then, John had this handsome, mature look, with a neat mustache and strong features. He looked like the kind of father who would work hard to take care of his family and wasn't afraid to speak his mind. His character was funny, but also caring, and John brought both sides to life perfectly. Now at 84 years old, John Amos has really shown his age. His hair has gone white, his face has developed deep wrinkles, and he's lost some of that strong, sturdy appearance he had in his younger days. His body has become more frail, which is what happens when we get into our 80s. But the amazing thing is that he's still with us and still has that same dignified presence that made him such a great actor. Let's talk about Samuel L. Jackson, who had a small but memorable role as the robber who tried to hold up McDowell's restaurant. In 1988, he was 40 years old and still building his career. He wasn't the huge superstar he would become later. He was just this talented actor doing smaller roles in movies. Back then, Samuel looked quite different from how we know him now. He had more hair, his face was smoother, and he was much thinner. He brought this intense energy to his small role that made you remember him even though he was only on screen for a few minutes. You could tell he was going to be something special. Today, at 75 years old, Samuel L. Jackson is completely bald and has become much more recognizable as the badass actor we all know and love. His face has aged quite a bit, with wrinkles and lines that show all his years in Hollywood. But here's the incredible thing. He's become one of the most famous actors in the world. From Pulp Fiction to the Marvel movies, he's been in everything. So while he looks much older, his career has been absolutely amazing. Cuba Gooding Jr. had a tiny role as a boy getting a haircut in the barbershop scene. He was just 20 years old and completely unknown at the time. He was this young, fresh-faced kid who probably never imagined he would go on to win an Oscar and become a famous actor. In the movie, he was practically a baby. Smooth skin, youthful energy, and that bright smile of someone just starting out in life. It was such a small part that most people didn't even notice him unless they went looking for him later. Now, at 56 years old, Cuba looks completely different. He's gained weight over the years. His hairline has receded quite a bit, and his face has filled out and aged significantly. He's had his ups and downs in Hollywood, winning that Oscar for Jerry Maguire, but then making some career choices that didn't work out so well. Still, seeing how far he came from that tiny role in Coming to America is pretty amazing. Madge Sinclair played Queen Aeolian, the wise and strong mother of Prince Hakeem. She was 50 years old during filming and brought such regal dignity to the role. She had this beautiful, mature face that looked perfect for playing royalty. And her voice had this musical quality that made every word she spoke sound important. In the movie, Queen Aeolian was elegant and powerful. The kind of mother who loved her son, but also knew when to push him to do the right thing. Madge brought such warmth and strength to the character that she felt like everyone's ideal mother figure. Sadly, Madge Sinclair passed away in 1995 from leukemia, so we can't see how she would look today. But we can remember how beautiful and talented she was, and how she made Queen Aeolian one of the most memorable characters in the movie. Sometimes the most important thing isn't how someone ages, but how they're remembered. And Madge Sinclair is remembered as a truly wonderful actress. Victoria Dillard played one of the bath attendants in the palace scenes. She was just 19 years old at the time, practically a teenager. She had this youthful, fresh look that was perfect for the small role she played in the movie. Now at 54 years old, Victoria has matured into a distinguished-looking woman. Her face has developed character lines, and she's gained the kind of mature beauty that comes with experience and wisdom. She went on to have a successful career in television, appearing in shows like Spin City and various Law Order episodes. One of the most interesting things about looking at this cast now versus then is seeing how differently people age. Some actors seem to barely change, while others look completely different. But that's just life. We all age in our own ways, and there's beauty in seeing the journey that each person has taken. The makeup and costume work in Coming to America was incredible too. Eddie Murphy played multiple characters, and the transformations were so good that many people didn't even realize it was him in different roles. The old Jewish barber, the soul-singing preacher. These characters looked completely different from Prince Hakeem, showing just how talented the makeup artists were. Looking back at the movie now, it's amazing to think about how young everyone was. Eddie Murphy was just 25, but he was already carrying a major Hollywood production. Sher Hedley was 24 and basically unknown, but she held her own opposite one of the biggest comedy stars in the world. These were people at the beginning of their lives and careers, full of energy and dreams. What's really touching is that many of these actors came back for the 2021 sequel, Coming to America. Seeing them all together again, 33 years later, was like attending a high school reunion. Everyone looked older. Everyone had lived full lives in between, but the magic was still there. Eddie Murphy slipped back into Prince Hakeem like he'd never left, even though he was now playing a king instead of a prince. The sequel showed us how these characters might have aged in their fictional world, but it also showed us how the real actors had aged in the real world. Some looked great for their ages, others showed more wear and tear, but all of them brought the same heart and humor that made the original movie so special. It's important to remember that aging is just a part of life. These actors have given us decades of entertainment, laughter, and memories. They've lived full lives, raised families, faced challenges, and continued working in an industry that can be pretty tough on people as they get older. Instead of focusing on how different they look, maybe we should celebrate how much joy they've brought into our lives. Eddie Murphy is still making movies and making people laugh. James Earl Jones, even at 93, is still remembered as one of the greatest voices in cinema history. Samuel L. Jackson has become one of the most recognizable actors in the world. These people have had incredible careers that span decades, and that's something to celebrate, not criticize. The beauty of Coming to America isn't just in how young and energetic everyone looked back in 1988. It's in the story, the characters, the humor, and the heart that these actors brought to their roles. Those things don't age. They become classics that new generations can discover and enjoy. When you watch the movie now, try not to just see how different everyone looks. Try to see the amazing performances, the chemistry between the actors, and the pure fun that jumps off the screen. These were talented people doing what they loved, and that passion shows in every scene. The fact that we're still talking about this movie and these actors 35 years later says something important. It means they created something special, something that lasts. Not many movies from 1988 are still beloved today, but Coming to America is. That's not because of how young everyone looked, it's because of how talented they were and how much heart they put into their work. So yes, the cast of Coming to America looks different now than they did in 1988. But they're also 35 years older, which means they've had 35 more years of living, learning, and entertaining us. That's not something to be sad about. That's something to celebrate. These actors have given us a lifetime of entertainment, and they deserve our respect and appreciation, not criticism about how they've aged. The next time you watch Coming to America, don't just see it as a movie from the past. See it as a celebration of talented people at different stages of their lives, all coming together to create something magical. And remember that the real magic wasn't in how they looked. It was in who they were and what they brought to their characters. That's what makes great movies and great actors. Not their appearance, but their talent, their heart, and their ability to make us believe in the stories they're telling. The cast of Coming to America had all of that in 1988, and the best of them still have it today. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane and learning about how the Coming to America cast has changed over the years, make sure to hit that like button and share this video with your friends who love classic comedy. As much as you do, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing then and now content about your favorite movies and TV shows. We've got so many more incredible transformations to show you, and trust me, you won't want to miss a single one. Ring that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we drop our next awesome video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.